Hello everybody, SlimKirby here. Welcome back to more of The Legend of Zelda Link's Awakening. Last time we beat the first dungeon of the game, we got our first instrument of the Sirens, and as we started heading towards our second dungeon, we found out that the citizens of Mabe Village kind of endured a bit of a moblin attack, and as a result, Bow Wow, the lovable chain chomp outside of Madame Meow Meow's house, was actually taken prisoner. So in this video, we're going to try and solve all that, and then also make our way to the second dungeon. So before we do that, because we have to go to this building right here, I want to spend a little bit of time talking about this building over here. In the DX version, which is the version of Link's Awakening that people are probably most familiar with, this was actually the camera shop, where you would go inside here, you'd talk to the photographer, and then throughout your journey, the photographer would take little snapshots of certain scenes that happen throughout the game. It was a fun little collectible you could get alongside, like, some of the other things, like the secret seashells and the heart pieces and everything. And you actually also had some connectivity with, like, the Game Boy camera and printer that were peripherals at the time. In this version of the game, though, the camera shop does not exist, and instead it is replaced by this building right here, which actually kind of involves another kind of game-long side quest as well. So I'm going to go ahead and go in here and talk to a familiar face from another Zelda game. We have Dampé from Ocarina of Time, Majora's Mask, basically a couple of different Zelda games. Huh? What you doing here so early? You can't come in yet. I'm still setting up. So yeah, this is actually kind of one of the big features that Nintendo really wanted to push alongside this version of Link's Awakening. I'll obviously be talking about this more as we come back here later, because right now, obviously we can't do anything here, but this is something we'll definitely be checking out later, and we'll be spending quite a bit of time here as well. I want to say you can't really do any of this until after you beat the second dungeon, but I could be a little inaccurate. There's a lot of things I don't really know about this game in terms of, like, certain triggers and when things become available, but again, those are things we'll basically find out over time. So instead, we're going to go over here and we're going to basically storm into the Moblin Stronghold. Who's this suspicious-looking runt? Okay, boys, let's get rid of him. So yeah, we have to fight some Moblins. I hate this. I think in my first playthrough, this was like the only place where I had a death, because I really hate fighting the shield moblins. It's just kind of difficult to actually get the strike on them. These guys aren't too bad though. There are a lot of them, but they have a very basic attack pattern, so they're not too difficult to deal with. And now we have the boss moblin. You must be an assassin sent by Madame Meow Meow to rescue the mutt. You came here to get me, but it is I who will get you! I love how he thinks I'm an assassin. Like, yo, Madame Meow Meow, just this sweet old woman who just loves pets. No, she's just an assassin. Like, she hired an assassin. This guy's a little more annoying to take out in this version. What you have to do is you have to wait for him to charge into the wall. And when he does that, he becomes vulnerable, and then you can start attacking him and stuff. But you have to actually make sure that he actually hits the wall before you start slashing. Because I think you can actually accidentally end his cycle a bit earlier if you go too ham on him. So yeah, you have to be a little bit careful. See, right there, if you get out of the way too early, he'll stop before he hits the wall. Like that. Let's hope we don't die here, because I don't want to... I definitely don't want to die. And there we go. So very quickly, while we have a fairy on screen, I'm going to go ahead and show this off. We're going to actually try to capture this fairy in a bottle. You caught a fairy in a bottle. Set it free anytime you want to get healed. Now, this is interesting, and I find this very weird. Because of the secret medicine, which is an item we'll get later on in the game, that actually acts as how a fairy normally would. Because normally in other Zelda games, whenever you have a fairy in a bottle, if you die, the fairy will revive you and bring you back to life with some hearts. In this game, fairies are more like potions. So, like, fairies don't actually heal you if you die. You actually have to use them before you die. Which is a weird thing, because the secret medicine that you get later, that actually restores your health if you die. So, again, it's kind of weird that they actually made that change. But, it is what it is. So here we go. Here's good old Bow Wow. Let's rescue him, shall we? You saved Bow Wow. What a fearsome beast. That's not a nice thing to say about Bow Wow. Bow Wow's fine. He didn't do anything wrong. So yeah, we have Bow Wow on our side now. Bow Wow can be pretty helpful. He can actually eat, like, some enemies whole, which is pretty nice. So you can kind of get around some areas a little easier just having Bow Wow on your side. But before we move on, looks like our owl friend is back. Ooh, that's a fearsome looking animal you have there. Do not forget, the next instrument is in Gaponga Swamp. I know, we haven't forgotten. Whoa! Who's this over here? It's Dampe. Hey, you made it out of here. That speaks well of you. Maybe you can help me out with a little job. I'm Dampe, and my job around this island is to dig up interesting stuff. When you have some time to spare, come see me in my shack over there. Okay, so he's actually ready now. I thought it... That's weird. I thought it was after the second dungeon, but I guess it's after that. I guess makes sense. So yeah, I guess we'll go ahead and do this now while we're here, since he's actually prompting us to now. I'll stay posted here while you take care of your other business. Just don't leave me waiting too long, okay? Oh, okay, so you do have to do it after Dungeon 2, because I'm guessing that it wants you to do after you get rid of Bow Wow. My god. Seriously, the triggers in this game can be very, very weird. So yeah, to again just kind of show this off, Bow Wow can eat enemies. Or, well, he should be eating enemies. Okay, well, he tried to anyway. He can eat enemies, but it's pretty finicky depending on the type of enemies. Like, if there's a stationary enemy, like a moblin or something, then, like, those are a little easier. And, Bow Wow also has another use, where if, you're ever near a secret seashell that's underground, Bow Wow can actually sniff it out for you. So, like, right here, we know there's a secret seashell, so we're gonna go ahead and grab that. The unfortunate thing is, you don't have Bow Wow for a long period of time, so... can't always use that as an indicator, but it is definitely helpful when you can use them to sniff out some of those extra things. So yeah, we're going to be going kind of backwards, I guess. The reason why we're doing that is because the next dungeon's kind of accessed in a very weird way. I feel like in a sense the game wants you to kind of go back to Mabe Village and talk to Madame Meow Meow, who's like, oh, you found Bow Wow, you should take him for a little walk. And that's basically, like, you take him for a walk until you complete the next dungeon, because you actually need Bow Wow to get into the next dungeon, so that's kind of what the game was trying to go for there. But yeah, Bow Wow is definitely pretty helpful. Just eats enemies whole. Don't need to worry about fighting them, which is really nice. And yeah, that's kind of the cool thing about him. There is actually something over here, but I'll get it later after I'm done with the dungeon. And here we are. We're inside the Gaponga Swamp now. Before we go into the dungeon itself, we're going to use Bow Wow to eat some of these flowers. Get a chest. This has, I think, like 50 rupees, which is nice. We need to start saving up for that bow and arrow after all. Yeah, I need to start working on that. And here we go. This is the second dungeon right here. And, well, since we're only like 10 minutes in the video, I guess we'll go ahead and start, so... Level 2, Bottle Grotto. Now, as a kid, like, I got stuck on this dungeon for, like, the longest time, and the reason why I did was due to, essentially, the big key placement. That was something that always kind of threw me off when I was younger. But should not throw me off anymore. Now that I actually know to, you know, pay attention to my surroundings here. So I'm going to grab this key over here, and we're going to go to this side of the dungeon. Just to see what we can find. We'll wait for those things to get out of the way before I... Okay, I don't need to light those torches, I don't think. Inside we have the stone beak. And it is kind of actually funny that the stone beak is like so far out of the way just because of the big key thing. Because if you just kind of just like go straight forward through the dungeon, you could actually miss that. And if you don't know what you're doing, you could miss out on a very like not so obvious hint. Let's go ahead and read this. Part of the floor is raised. Tap the shining crystal. Okay, so that's basically teaching you how these things work. Basically, there's orange and blue pegs that get changed based on how often you hit this thing. Let's go ahead and go over here. We have Shy Guys. They kind of move like in a mirrored format, or a mirrored fashion. Well, they actually like changed this, which is weird. You have to kind of go around and hit them. You can't actually hit them through the wall, which is something you could do in the original Link's Awakening. Kind of unfortunate, but it is what it is. So here we have another type of enemy here, kind of a stealthful soldier. They're pretty aggressive. They have a shield, but if you just like block them once, you can put them off their guard, and then you can just easily take the hit and get rid of them. Okay, so we have another key. We're going to go back to this other room just so we can see what's in here. I believe this is just going to be the map chest. But yeah, you need to hit the Shy Guys from the back. So you just kind of need to move around the room until you get them in a good position. Oh, this is actually the compass, not the map. Never mind. We'll get the map at some point. Now though, let's kill some skeletons. And collect some rupees too. Which I am very, very much okay with that. Okay, another key in this room. Hit the switch. Make the chest spawn. And we get another small key. The front part of this dungeon is pretty, like, well, like, stocked with keys, it seems like. See, now we have to go all the way back to get that other key. That's one thing I don't think they really needed to fix. I thought it was always kind of cool that you could have hit that, hit those Shy Guys from over here. Oh well, it is what it is. Beat this guy again. I think there's also like some parts in those pots, but we can't get rid of pots yet, so unfortunately gonna need to go without those for now. Now I do actually want to kind of get some health soon, because we are getting ready to fight the mini-boss. And the mini-boss can be kind of dangerous. I guess I do have that fairy, though. Make every block design the same. A new path will open. I think that it kind of gave us a hint like that already, but I guess that was more like, hey, if a block seems out of place, push it. Still, that was pretty much the same kind of hint for that. Okay. So Now we're going to go through here. And I think before I climb the ladder, I think I am going to use that fairy. Just to make sure I'm full health. Going into this next part. Oh, well, I guess I could have also just used this, but whatever. So in this room we have a Hinox. In this game, Hinoxes are mini-bosses that have bombs, and they hurt. Thankfully, they are pretty slow, though. They do a lot of damage, but if you can get some hits in, they're not really too bad to deal with. So let's go ahead very quickly, get another fairy. Just again, if we need it later. Let's start making our way through the next part of the dungeon. So yeah, got another owl statue coming up, so let's go ahead and read that. First, defeat the imprisoned Pole's voice. Last, the skeletal Stalfos. Okay, I'm actually... okay, I'm actually kind of glad they made that change, and I'll talk about that in a moment. Let's first open this. I believe this is the map. And they give you the map, like, very late in this dungeon. I'm surprised how late they give you that map. Nope, shut up. I know it's too heavy. I wasn't trying to lift its game. Wasn't trying to lift it. So in this room you have some boos. Hit them out of the way, then light a torch. Light both torches, and then you can get rid of them. And in this chest right here, we'll get the dungeon item for level 2. Which is the power bracelet. At last you can pick up pots and stones. And, unlike the original Link's Awakening, it is no longer an inventory item. You can just automatically do it, which is honestly the biggest improvement in this game. That was always so annoying that the power bracelet was an item you actually had to equip. It's... oh god, it's so much better now. I'm so glad they made that change. It really never should have been the way it was in the first place, though. Okay, so we got that. Gonna go ahead and get that key. Gonna get that. I'm trying to get on top of this. There we go. Oop. Don't think it matters what color the crystal is at this point. So this is the room that Owl Statue was talking about. It was basically giving you a hint of the order of where you need to defeat these enemies. So first it said get rid of the captured Pole's voice, which is this enemy that's captured down here. So we need to pick up a pot, throw it out and kill him. Then we need to kill the Keese, also Guardian Acorn. It'll reduce the damage you take by half, which is pretty cool. And then last you have the Skeletal Stalfos. Now, when I was a kid, that puzzle really confused me because I didn't know enemy names. Like, why would I know enemy names? They don't necessarily tell you that. Unless you read, like, a guide or, like, the manual or something. So that was always a big thing. So like what the hell is a Pole's voice? Until I just kind of realized, well, maybe the enemy order is what's dependent on it. And then I just kind of tried a couple of things and eventually figured out the right pattern. But I do like how the remake actually kind of changed the text a little bit. Because it said the captured Pole's voice, so it's like, okay, the enemy that's captured, that's the enemy you need to defeat first. And then it said skeletal Stalfos, which is like, okay, the skeleton's the last, so you can actually figure it out. But like in the original game, it was like defeat the Pole's voice, then last Stalfos, and it's like, oh, what the hell is that? Always just kind of one of those interesting things about that puzzle. But yeah, we're actually about done with the dungeon. All we have to do is get to the boss room. And, well, shoot, I messed it up. I threw the pot too early. There we go. Anyway, we need to get to the boss room, and look, the boss room's right there, so... Bottle Grotto, it's not as short as the Tail Cave is, but it is still pretty quick, so... I'm honestly not surprised we were able to beat this dungeon in this video as well. Ho ho ho! I'm your bad guy this time! Ho ho ho! So here we have the genie. The genie is a pretty interesting boss. First he'll throw fireballs at you for a bit. After that he'll sneak into his bottle. You have to hit the bottle with your sword, pick it up with the power bracelets, and then throw it against the wall to crack it. And that's essentially how you fight this guy. For the most part, it's not too bad. He does have 2 phases, though. And the second phase, although I wouldn't say it's hard, it can be deceptively hard if, like, you aren't paying attention. And you can kind of take, like, a lot of damage without realizing. That's really the only thing that's difficult about this fight, though. Otherwise, it's pretty simple. Why, you broke my bottle. Why, you make me hopping mad. So you just wait for him to spawn. And attack him. As long as you put damage on him, you should be fine. Like, we have 5 hearts right now. And yeah, 3 spin flashes will do it. Just a case of you putting more damage on him than he puts on you, and that's really about it. So there we go, we get the heart container. Our health is expanded yet again. And we're going to go in here and get our second instrument. That's 2 instruments in 4 videos. And we got the first instrument in the last video, so we're making some pretty good progress. Although it kind of helps that we didn't waste our time with the trendy game in this video either. The trendy game admittedly kind of took some time away. But that's okay. That's okay. Prairie! Prairie! The prairie is waiting! I don't know why I said that in the owl voice. So yeah, the prairie is where we're going to be going next. But before we do, actually, because this is something I always forget about, go in here first, because there is a treasure chest in here, and this will give you 50 rupees, which is a free 50 rupees, which is nice. And that is actually pretty nice, because if you don't have the shovel yet, then that'll help you get up to the shovel expense that you pretty much need to make at this point. We're getting to the point where the shovel is actually required now. But thankfully, we already have it, so now we can use those rupees for other things. I'll still probably wait to get the bow and arrow next, because the bow and arrow is essentially a required item. So like I said earlier in the video, we're going to go over here next because we have another secret seashell. Thought we did anyway. Maybe it's right here. Okay, it's here. It's kind of weird that it's right there and not on the dirt spot to the north of me, but like, whatever. We'll also go ahead and check out this cave quickly. I don't think we can get everything in here, but we can get... actually, I might be able to get... Oh yeah, we can get both things. We'll open this up, get some more rupees. Again, 50 more rupees if you're kind of lacking the expenses for the shovel. We'll go over here, get 20 more rupees. Joy. Joy indeed. Yeah, we have quite the number of rupees now. I think I am probably going to end the video here, though. There are some other things I could check out, but I'll start working on that next video. So I'm going to go ahead and end it here. This has been SlimKirby. This has been Legend of Zelda Link's Awakening. I'll see you guys next time when we start working on a small bit of cleanup, but we'll start making our way towards the third dungeon. We're not going to get to it next video, but we will, you know, get most of the way there for the most part. So yeah, I'll see you guys then. Later, folks.